This is Work From Home, the podcast that helps you stay connected, productive and sane while working remotely. I'm Harry.
And I'm Alex.
And I'm Ryan.
Hello, chaps. We're talking today about energy bills. Do you know what? Until, Ryan, you suggested this as a topic to talk about, I hadn't even vaguely considered it. I think that's partly because my office is always at home. But it's the idea of energy bills and how the fact that we're working from home, using all our electricity during the day, and actually our bills are massively going up. So, yeah, what have you got for us on this? I think it's something that maybe we should be giving more thought to.
Yeah, so back in October, there was an article by The Independent saying that we could be facing, on average, a £100 increase on our energy bills over winter. This was from data released by the Energy Helpline, saying that bills could rise by up to 18% with workers working from home. Their home energy consumption is increasing because they're cooking more, they're keeping the lights on longer in the house, whereas otherwise they'd be sort of using the office's energy. And they've said that the total winter fuel bill could go up to as much as £707 over the course of a 5-day week.
Yeah, that's pretty significant. I wonder if companies are suggesting that they kind of cover that, as as an expense, because it seems, fair that if you're doing work at home, that your employer should consider splitting that fee with you.
Yeah, well, that was actually something that was addressed by Wired.co.uk. In fact, their headline was, as winter bites, employers need to cover working from home costs. So they have touched on it. I don't know how far that's been pushed in terms of actually sort of getting employers to consider it.
Yeah, right. I'd like to know from you listening out there if your boss has offered to pay your energy bills, because and if not, maybe it's something you can bring up in the next meeting. I wonder if that's something that people are doing. Certainly more should be, I'm sure.
So yeah, so that's that £100 increase is sort of a scary figure, I think, for anyone.
One thing I was thinking is that we're probably all saving a lot of money on commuting costs as well, though, aren't we? So we're not paying for petrol, we're not paying for trains and all that kind of stuff. So maybe it's offset in that respect.
Yeah, I think it definitely will be. I mean, I know that I was paying at minimum £20 a week when I was commuting in my previous job. So yeah, over a month, that's roughly £80 already saved. So that's not bad at all. But yeah, there's some positive notes to take away from this. There are some tips courtesy of British Gas Service and Repair Engineer Joanna Flowers. Number one is a very obvious one that I think we already do, is turning off the lights when we leave a room.
Yep. If someone wants to tell my wife Pip this, that would be ideal, because I find myself switching lights off around. Honestly, I feel like an old man. I'm like an old grumpy dad. Turn the bloody lights off, I'm not using them. But honestly, the amount of times I go downstairs and like every room in the house is beautifully lit. Anyway, I'll save my moaning for later.
That's good. Well, if you need some arguments to back up your theories, one study I found said that leaving the lights on during the day can cost an average of £2.30 a day, or £64 a month.
You hear that, Pip? Yeah.
£838 a year just by leaving lights on.
Right. Bloody hell.
And if you're a nocturnal light leaver honor, then that can be as much as 77 pence a day, or £281 a year in wasted light energy.
Right, well, there you go. And actually, LEDs, I think, are more efficient as well. We've switched to LEDs in most of the house, and that's kind of a bit better.
Yeah, I think this study may have been talking about sort of more traditional bulbs. But yeah, it's something to think about. And yeah, a great argument if you're trying to persuade someone not to leave the lights on.
Definitely. What else?
Yep. So number 2 was make the most of soft furnishings. And this means hanging curtains and placing rugs on hard floors as well, because they all act as good insulators. So the thicker the material, the better. But it's important to remember to leave the windows open during the day to let the heat in first, and then close everything at night to trap all the heat in. And again, if you need some evidence-based research to back this up, if someone's refusing to close the curtains, one study from the University of Salford back in 2014 found that windy conditions can increase heat loss by up to 5 to 8%. Rainy conditions can increase heat loss by 20%, and a combination of the both can increase heat energy loss by 30%. However, drawing the blinds at dusk can reduce heat loss by 13 to 14%. And if you have curtains, that goes to 15 to 17%.
Phew.
Number 3 is basically just to maximize your heat sources already. And very simply, that means stop blocking the radiator with sofas, because even though it makes a nice, comfortable cubby for you to curl up and read a book in, you're not really heating the rest of the room. So you might end up turning things up hotter. So yeah, maximize heat sources.
All right, like it.
Number 4, this is a fun one, maximize efficiency in the kitchen. Obviously, we've been cooking more at home, but they're saying one thing we could do is if we're roasting something, turn off the oven 10 minutes early, because the heat will continue to cook whatever's in there. And also batch cooking as well. So making more meals at once and then I guess storing them.
I mean, that's granular. I feel like that's going to make a very small difference, but I like it. This is like power user stuff here, isn't it? This is like advanced level energy saving.
Well, maybe these two you might not guess. So the next one is keyhole coverings.
Flipping heck.
As well.
That's like 0.00002% difference made.
I want to know, can you guess the fourth one?
No.
Okay, so it's okay. The fourth one.
That was a great game, wasn't it? Can you guess? No. Okay, moving on.
So, number 4 is, and I'd never heard of these before, chimney balloons.
Chimney balloons?
Yeah. So
go on.
Balloons for your chimney.
Thanks
exactly
for
what
clarifying. But what does it do? As in, you just blow up a balloon in the chimney flue?
I think that there's specific kinds of balloons, but yeah, blow up one of these balloons, stick them in your chimney, and then you've blocked up another major source of heat loss.
Cool.
Your chimney.
And you'll also have a fire in your house if you light the fire at the bottom of the chimney.
You'll have a house fire. Yeah.
Exactly. Which will keep you really warm.
Yeah.
No, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, there you go. That's a topic that hadn't even crossed my mind, and I think it's quite an interesting one. So just, get those terrible housemates to turn off the lights when they leave the room. That's my takeaway. Cool. Let us know what else we haven't thought of that we should be talking about on the show. I think this is an interesting topic that has been brought up, and if there's something that you would like us to speak about on this podcast, we'd love to hear from you. Our email is wfh@lowerstreet.co. We do love to hear from you. Similarly, we love getting ratings and reviews in the podcast app of your choice. We would love it if you enjoyed this episode, or indeed any episode that you've listened to with us three prattling on. A review of what you enjoyed about this episode in your podcast app of choice would be massively appreciated, and we read every single one. Nevertheless, we will be back every Monday, Wednesday and Friday with new episodes. Thanks very much for listening.